Okay, this attempt is a bit long. I swear I have an excuse. Hey everybody, it's me, Pluto. Here today I'm going to be commentating a level in integration of fragments, specifically HibaNYA's final memory, red coins. This is one of the 3 levels in like that little secret area at the beginning of the game. It's meant to be a collection of a bunch of Treasure World and Treasure World Dream Edition levels with a few other things in there. As you can see, this is a bit of a Rubble melancholy throwback, except this one's actually playable. But seriously speaking, the star is pretty interesting. It's a little more open-ended than some other stages in this game. You get some choice as to where you go at the beginning, but once you get to the ending it gets a little more linear, as you need to follow a direct path to get to where the red coin star spawns. So there I start with the Rubble melancholy red coin because I think it's the most difficult one to get, at least when under the pressure of having the other ones. And then I immediately go over to the Toasted Coast section, which leads to this Joy or Sorrow section. Some tricky slopes there. The main way that you deal with those is just gaining enough speed to get past them, just all in one clean go. And here we have a bit of an interesting walking section where we need to do that, go under the Kuromame here, and then here we're going to need to do a triple jump dive, or triple jump wall kick dive to get to that platform. I use the wall there to cancel my speed, so that way I can just instantly land on the platform, no problem. Very easy. Alright, so wall kick back up this arch. So here I'm going to take a bit of an odd approach to this arch here. The reason for that is because there is a snuffet on top of this. A heave-ho. It will look like a snuffet. Maybe it's some abomination that was created in a lab. It reminds me of those things at the end of Undertale. But, yeah, you want to avoid him, and thankfully going on that side of the arch tends to avoid him, albeit the jump is quite tight. You need to do a good chain long jump and then a very good wall kick. And then here I'm going to skip a bit of a tricky momentum jump by, instead of jumping down to the main part of the stage, I jump on top of this and do some Kyosojis around, which allows me to begin this wall kick section. Obviously that's a troll star there. So here we're going to have some little tech here. If you don't know, one-way walls like to push Mario, and when you put a bunch of them like that, that happens. Your positioning there is a bit finicky, so I pause to like adjust depending on where I am. The strategy for getting a decent angle out of these walls is very simple. Just hit each wall twice, like that. You need some pretty precise wall kicks to get over this little hump here. And then here you want to be as high as possible to avoid dying from too low syndrome. Yeah, this wall kick section is deceptively tricky. It looks very simple, but it actually killed quite a few attempts. I tend to mess around with the route of the stage because it allowed me to, so I did like experiment with different things, and this route ended up being the one I was most comfortable with. But you can actually change the stage very much to like anything. So if there's any particular thing you struggle on, at least in these first 10 red coins, you can do it earlier, which I think is really cool. I would like to see more stars like this for you to have like a lot of liberty over where you get to go. The second half of the stage is where it begins to lose me a little bit, and you'll see, it gets a little finicky, but there we have a little throwback to Morningstorm's favorite stage, Refined Glimpse Paradox, which is the final stage of King Boo's Revenge 2. It's a very good stage, I see why it's his favorite. In case you're wondering how you get inside that cage, it's a light Chukya, which is ironic because Morningstorm hates light Chukyas. And I was just saying how that section was his favorite stage. But regardless, we're coming back to the Rubble melancholy section now to get the other 2 reds that are here. Funnily enough, this red coin here is actually easier than doing the normal path. The normal path actually has some pretty tricky jumps, but if you get the red coin here, you only need to do that like moderately tricky, precise wall kick, and then the rest kind of just lines up very easily. Do a little quicksand ledge grab here. Here I do the trick I did in Final Tragedy Star 5 to get a 1-frame suboptimal Kyosoji there, which is good enough. So it's usually good enough. So whenever there's a section where like you need a good Kyosoji but not a perfect one, I always use that technique. I think it's a very good one. Another relatively simple wall kick section. Here you can try to get back to the main part of the section if you'd like, but it's easier to instead, because we have no more business here, just jump back down to the start of the stage like so. Use Mario Cam to adjust the camera. Anyways, there was another red coin that we missed that we're not going to get now, and that is the Toasted Coast one. This one can only kill you if you're impatient. Patience is a virtue. you either live long enough to have patience or you die. I don't know. Listen, I you know, just fucking don't be stupid. That's my tip, okay? Don't be stupid. Just, you know, be careful. Here we have this little arch thing, which is easier than the Toasted Coast one. Some of these sections are dramatically easier than the levels they're based on. Some of them are dramatically harder. Sometimes foreshadowing is obvious. Here, there's going to be a little landing here with a coin. It's actually 5 coins stacked on top of each other, which is why I don't lose any HP there. Alright, so now there's 2 more reds before we can enter the final act of this level. The final act, which takes up most of the star. Normally it should be half, but it takes a bit longer in this attempt. Again, foreshadowing. It's obvious. I might throw in a clip here because this slope is fucked. I just won't explain how it's fucked, and I'll just throw up a clip of how bad it is. But yeah, just jump on the right side and you'll be fine. Yeah. God, I fucking love that. Here we have actually a pretty creative jump. You need to get a good enough angle to go under this little thing here and be able to wall kick and still make it. I like that. There's a lot of sections of the stage that I like. It's honestly a pretty enjoyable stage. I had fun with it. The normal stars in the stage took about... Oh yeah, I almost died there because I didn't lose my speed in that corner. But yeah, the normal stars here, I want to say they took like 4 to 5 hours to get the main 6 stars, and then reds took an additional 3 to 4 plus like probably like an hour of practice. I'm not really sure, but I think that was the ballpark. So like I'd say like 8 to like 10 hours for the whole stage. It's definitely the hardest stage I've done in this game so far. It's quite tough. You know, but nothing I can't handle. Yeah. Here I wait for this heave-ho like a pussy, because I'm scared of heave-hos. I mean, to be fair, that thing's an abomination. Look at it go. God, I'm pretty sure all the heave-hos in this stage look like that. I'll probably throw up another clip here because there's an invisible wall that you can hit if you're aim too high on that slope. Yeah, so I've given myself way more work editing this, and then I have to like edit. I have to like pen like 5 minutes adding that clip in. But you know, don't say I don't make sacrifices for these videos. I'm sorry, but yeah. That lava bounce section is actually easier than the Suganento's Dream version of it because everything lines up very well, and that setup is just very smooth and consistent. Everything's just like the perfect distance to make it all work. Here we have a little bridge trudge throwback. I showed a friend the section, and they got flashbacks to the Rambi's Reverie grind because wall kick maze, and I gotta agree, this section might be more boring than that. It's shorter, but you know, it's probably worse. God, it's pretty silly. I'm not really sure what, I believe Akira made the stage. I'm not really sure what he was going with here, but at least it ends cool here. There's a little hole that we need to line up with, and then you dive. And big jump. Alright, Wall Mountain section. This is not the hardest section, but it is the most awkward in my opinion. This beginning is not that bad though. Since we just have some normal wall kicks here, I might as well talk about how the grind went. I put 3 hours of attempts into the stage yesterday, and yesterday being August 21st, that is. Today being August 22nd, obviously. It went, like, okay. I got a couple of decent attempts. I got 3 11 out of 16 deaths, 1 12 out of 16 death, and 1 15 out of 16 death. So those are, like, I got, like, 5 attempts that got pretty far. And then today, I, like, started an attempt, and I played for about, like, 30 to 40 minutes, and then I just got it, which is really cool, especially considering that most of that is a successful attempt. So pretty smooth grind, honestly. I only really choked once, and even then I choked to a hard part, so it's hardly like that. Is that even a choke? So yeah. There, you also got to see the QSOD thing I did again to get a 1-frame suboptimal QSOD. Which the word suboptimal makes it sound like it's bad, but it's good. It's just, you know, words. I mean, if you're playing SMB1, maybe suboptimal by 1 frame matters, but regardless. This section here, there's some tricky camera maneuvering because the walls are kind of tight here. That's just the Wall Mountain special, man. And then here, there's a pseudo setup to line this up properly. I got a firstie there, which helped, but it's not necessary. But I get that firstie quite often, so if I don't get that firstie, I get it off the other wall, but it's not needed either way. It's not even that tight, even if you don't get it. So here we have a little function conjunction, whatever you want to call this, the fucking trash compactor down here. Very, very tight spaces. This whole section is just tight spaces, which is why I call it very awkward. It's very uncomfortable to play, you know. Tight space. This game does not work well with tight spaces like this. The camera gets kind of fucky, and you know, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's not fun, because I do enjoy this section to a degree. I mean, it's just wall kicks, but it's definitely awkward, to say the least. It's ironic I say that this section is fun, because this is a very necessary wall kick section, as you can see. You know. Well, there we go. So we have some slopes. I think this is supposed to be a reference to Lumps Jumps from Dream Edition. the Course 6. Or Plaguing Planets, rather. Lumps Jumps is the Treasure World version. And then this is a C13 reference in the TD section of C13, that is, except this one you actually can't cheese, so you actually have to put effort, but I think this is also easier than the TD version. But I could be wrong, I don't know. I haven't done the TD version in so long. There was a time when I was like super anti-cheese. I vividly remember there's this guy, his name is like Salmon's like 500 or something, or like 5,000. He's a pretty cool Let's Player, by the way. But he did a Let's Play on Extreme Edition with save states. And I was also, at the time, playing Extreme Edition with save states then. And I, being the absolute asshole I was, when this guy used the Zatar Sanctuary cheese, I was like, you use the cheese, so this invalidates your save-stated completion of the game. Also, this section's invisible for no reason. I don't know why. It's the same shape as these slopes, though, which aren't slippery, by the way. But, back to what I was saying. I just, like, I saw him use the cheese, and my, like, fucking, like, 13-year-old brain was just like, your completion is invalid. You cheated. You cheated the game. And like that is like, what the fuck was wrong with me, man? I just had like this super elitist mindset against cheese, and like I still had that like going into like TD, so I was like, no, I can't skip the C13 section. The C13 section is integral to the gameplay. Speaking of TD, this is a buffed TD Thins. I'm pretty sure this has actually been nerfed in an update of this game, because I used to remember that this section used to require a lot of firsties, but I feel like it doesn't anymore. So either I was just like playing awful when I tested this level earlier, or this actually did get nerfed. If someone could confirm for me, I would appreciate that, because I'm too fucking lazy to do it myself. Yeah. Yeah, but I use a lot of pause buffering here. I know some people don't like it, but, you know, fuck learning the timings for this. All of these walls are so, like, they're different distances apart. I'm not gonna learn the timing for that. I could. I don't wanna. I'll just pause buffer my way to all the timing. Sorry. Unfortunately, pause buffering can't save you from stupidity. Ceiling bonk there. Thankfully, the level is conveniently made so you land here, but we got a chonky reclimb in store. So, yeah. I do have one thing I want to talk about during the reclimb, and that is self-improvement in terms of Mario 64. I've been improving in a lot of ways, obviously. Or not obviously, but, you know, you know, I'm becoming a better person, I think, and a more mature person, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is we're going to talk about improvement in regards to Mario, because I've been noticing that, like, I've been getting I've gotten a lot of like difficult stars, especially in like this game and like the buff TD Reds thing from like the Treasure 1.5 thing. And I've noticed that a lot of the stars haven't taken me that long, like under 10 hours for stuff that's like not from Dream Edition. And when I think about that, I think about just like how much Dream Edition has made me a better player in this game, and that is like super satisfying. Like the feeling of like every Dream Edition star is like making me better as a player, and that like tangible difference and just how well I play in other stars is some of the most satisfying shit of all time, you know? And that like, I'm just like, it makes me really happy. I just fucking love it. Like, I love improving in games, you know? Like, I'm not great at every game out there. I'm very bad at rhythm games. I'm very bad at fighting games, mostly because I never play them. But, like, you know, I'm a platformer person. Like, 2D platformers were my thing for a while, and now Mario 64 is my thing. And, like, as Dream Edition is a game that's, like, very pervasive, like, you know, I guess, I don't know what the word would be, but it's very prominent in my S54 stuff, you know. It's just the game I've been playing since, like, September of 2019. And in a way, it's like every single progress in Dream Edition, I tangibly get so much better at the game. And I like having that progress is just some of the most satisfying stuff. And it's just super rewarding. I love it. I love improving at games. I love getting better at games. And that is just like, that just feeling of like, it feels like my time is being rewarded. And that's a very good feeling. You know, I know some people, you know, sometimes you like just plateau. Like there's, like, you know, that happens to me too sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm never getting better at a game. But it's like, my best tip for like getting better is just like step outside your comfort zone, you know? Like do something that's challenging you in a great way. And then if you want to get better, like, well, first off, you should have fun. Like I'm having fun. And you should also have fun. But I think if you want to get better, the most important thing is just step outside your comfort zone, you know? Dream Edition, like every new star in Dream Edition is like fucking insanely hard. And like that's, you know, that gets you better. And that's very satisfying. So I don't know. I just look at the stuff I've done and I'm proud. I'm really happy with how far I've come with this game. It makes me very, very happy. There, I fat fingered a camera movement, by the way. You know, I just, man, God, I just love it, man. Yeah, there's really not much to say, but we're coming up on thins anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah. Outside of that, like, self-improvement thing, it's like, at Mario, the stage is just, it was, you know, I talked about it a bit earlier, but the stage was pretty good. I'm gonna be honest, this is like a stage that never made me, like, annoyed or upset or anything. I was just having fun the whole way through. I really enjoyed it. Is it the best stage ever made? I wouldn't say so. I think the stage has some pretty big flaws. Most notably, this red coin star is quite silly, and it gets sillier towards the end. Don't worry, but you know, I don't know. This game was fun. Like I really like IOF. You know, thank you. You know, thanks to the fucking JP community. You guys are great. You know, this game must have taken a ton of effort to make, and I respect this game a lot. Even if I don't, like, agree with every game design decision, I do respect this game a lot, and I'm very happy that it exists. You know? Just enjoyable, man. Very enjoyable. Alright, so now it's time for thins, but this time, I'm not stupid. Or rather, the game isn't stupid. Can I blame myself for stealing bonk? Yeah, kind of. Also, shoutouts to the invisible amps. I don't think I've mentioned them yet, but they're pretty great. Invisible amps are, you know, they're the real MVPs of the story, man. Easy. Yeah. Because of the camera, like the camera like zooms out when you pause, you can use that to gauge how close you are to the wall and when you need to time the wall kick. I just do that for every wall kick on these like uneven ones because it's easier. Okay, so now we get another attempt at this arch, except maybe this time I won't fall off. There you go. Okay. So, nice little throwback red to TD Reds. Backflip wall kick. This backflip wall kick is actually a lot tighter than the TD Reds version. Here we have another thing that's not from the Treasure Worlds. We have Heaven of Faith triple jumps. Oh boy. So these are immaculately precise, but I use a bit of a strategy here. Normally you would have to slow down to land on that second hexagon there, but there's a little neat little life hack you can do here. Activating amps makes it that way they will hit you before they start moving the next time you activate them. So I can, by activating that amp and running away, he will now hit me while he is like growing in size, which allows me to just not have to worry about slowing down. I can just get hit by the amp instantly. It's pretty interesting tech there. It can be very annoying, but this is like the one time when that tech is not annoying. It's useful. Another little Heaven of Faith jump here. This time it's one of the star triple jump ground pound things. Beautiful. Right, so now we're going to jump over to the TD QSLG section. And we have QSLGs. I hope you like QSLGs. I don't. But regardless, QSLG section, it's quite a bit harder than the TD one, I'll say that much. So here I do a little bit of a workaround because that tight little gap is very awkward and runs the risk of like getting death pixeled on like the edge. So instead I just come here, it's easier. Here we have this weird wall kick section. It's not weird because like how you do it, but I feel like I've never seen anything that looks like this in any other ROM hack. I could be wrong though, or maybe like I haven't seen like, you know, more modern ROM hacks. Like I haven't seen Smart Spheres, haven't seen like LU2. You know, I haven't really looked into those, but I've never seen anything that looks like that. So I don't know, something about that just sticks out in my brain. It's not like it's like the most interesting jump like gameplay wise. It just looks cool, I guess. I don't know. So here we randomly switched to B3 in a worse game than Treasure World. Some scary snuppets here, but if you just leave the platform quick, you'll be fine. The wall kind of blends in with the back wall there, so it's kind of tricky to see where the wall begins to wall kick off of, but no big deal. Here I grind for a first D just because this jump's kind of tight. Boom. And hey, we have another jump that's in Dream Edition Bowser 3 that's pretty fucking stupid. We have the jump off the little slope thing, which is, you know, really tough. This one I don't think is as hard though. Pretty forgiving. Now we have a more elongated quicksand ledge grab section. I hope you like them, you know. We haven't gotten a red coin in a while, and, you know, we're about to get another one. That's exciting, you know. So I mentioned I died with 15 out of 16 reds. I'll point out the section that I died to. When we get there, that is. And, hey look, it's a little bit of a throwback to actual TD's QSLG section. This red is even in, like, the same place. Hanging off the edge. Shoutouts to everyone going for TD Reds right now, by the way. If you're going for TD Reds, good luck. You can do it. I believe in you. You know, TD Reds is so cool. I find it so cool that so many people have done TD Reds. Like, that shit is sick. You know? Because, like, it's such a landmark star, and the fact that, like, so many people have done it, like, it's fucking impressive, man. It's like, I get excited seeing other people, like, do stuff. You know? Because, like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm happier for other people than I am for myself. And I don't mean that in a self-deprecating way. I mean that in just, like, it's just exciting to see people overcome things. Especially when they put, like, a lot of effort into it. Like, Maddie beating KBR1, that shit was so fucking hype, dude. Like, what a fucking deserved completion of a hack. Man, just... everything Maddie does is so hype, you know? Like, everything Ketchup Yoshi does is so fucking hype, man. Because they work, like, so hard for a bit. And just, like, when they just, like, overcome whatever crazy thing they're doing, it's just so awesome. God. Some people are just sick, man. Some people are just sick to watch. I love it, man. I hope I don't come off as like endearing or condescending, by the way. I really never want to come off that way, or like I'm putting other people down anyway. So I apologize if I do come off that way. That is very much not how I'm trying to convey my thoughts here. It's just, you know, I think about these things. And regardless, I mentioned that I died with 15 out of 16 reds. This is the section that I died to. Not this exact part, but it was this general little function conjunction of tons of kuromames and tons of strategies to avoid them, and pause buffering to know when they shoot, so that way you can avoid them more efficiently, and having the fire not land on the little ledge there. This part is stupid. I don't know what Akuro was thinking when he made this one, man. I really hope Akuro made this stage, because I'm going to look like a dumbass if he didn't. I'm pretty sure he did, though. Alright, with this done though, we're coming up on the ending of the star. More pause buffering to know when the kuromames shoot. Alright, and now with just like that, we're past the little kuromame party. And now we can move on to the ending. And the ending will look suspiciously familiar to TD Reds. In fact, you see that little platform there in the distance? That has the star. That has a star on it. So it's just a direct reference to TD Reds, where the red coin star spawns past another star in the stage because fuck you. But you know, it'd be like that sometimes. You know how it is, man. It really just do be like that sometimes. Last hard jump here. This is harder than the TD version, but, you know. Just keep cool. Remember, Z before A, and you'll be fine. Easy peasy. I think I actually repeated to myself here, Z before A, because I really didn't want to ground pound. Here, I try to bait this heave ho a little bit. I never mention it, but these snuffed heave hos, it's very hard to tell what part of them flips you, because, you know, they don't look like heave hos, so it's very hard to tell what their hitbox is. Because of that, I want to distract him, but he just kind of fell off, which never happened in practice, but, you know, we take those. This ending triple jump dive is going to be quite tight, but it's pretty self-explanatory, so I'll switch back to the raw audio so you can, like, hear the reaction stuff. Hope you enjoyed the commentary, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. Let's go. Thank you, All Gas No Brakes Florida Man, for making this possible. GG's, boys. Boys. HibaNYA's final memory. Clear. Woo! That took under 4 hours of attempts. Goddamn. Clean. Clean.